Perfect. Okay, so
Last recipe.
We're gonna do something a little more sweet.
Yeah. So we're going to be making this chewy spice date oatmeal cookies. What I wanted to say also, a point about the last recipe with the couscous is that it used to be a popular notion that people who were vegetarians needed to combine different types of proteins at one setting. So the proteins that you might find in tofu, edamame, beans, lentils, combined with proteins that you might find in whole grains, right? There was this notion that you needed to eat them at the same time, but actually that's no longer the case, right? Science has kind of evolved more. So eating your whole grains within a day or 24 hours is something that you want to consider doing, right? So this is why we kind of topped off this meal with a whole grain. So we're using oatmeal, or oats rather, as a way to include some more of those whole grains into the meal.
Absolutely. And this is a great sort of breakfast kind of cookie. I know cookie we automatically think of like sweets, and it's on Stephanie's naughty list, but
it's not.
This is actually good. This is actually really nice. A great batch recipe that you can make a large batch of, stick them in the freezer, and sort of pop them, warm them up when you want a nice little snack or start in the morning. So we're using oats. Oats are going to be the star here. The whole grain Stephanie really wanted in this. Large flaked oats you can find in, again, most grocery stores. They're pretty cheap for a big bag. Great ingredients to sort of have in the pantry. And the binder and main sort of sweetening ingredients in this is going to be dates. Have anyone baked with dates before? They're fantastic. They're a great, nice little substitute for sugar or something sweet. They have almost this molassesy sort of flavor. And all I've done ahead of time is just soak them in a little bit of warm water. The older your dates are, you might just need to let them soak a little bit longer just so that they're nice and soft. And we're going to let the machine do all the work for this one.
Yeah.
So we have a food processor. We're going to start with about half a cup of sunflower seeds. And you can use any seeds or nuts in this one. Works really well. Give it a 2-second pulse just to break it down. Then we're going to add our dates. These are soaked dates.
Yeah. So this is a great natural sweetener to add in. Instead of using, let's say, honey or sugar, brown sugar, because also you're getting the fiber from the date, and they're sweet as well.
So we're going to throw this in here. I'm going to add just a little bit, about a quarter cup or so of the soaking liquid as well, just to give it some moisture. And we're going to whiz that up again, just until it comes together. And it breaks most of the large parts up, but you can see it's almost forming this little paste there. So now we're ready for the large flaked oats. I have some of our spices as well. So I have some ground ginger and some ground cinnamon in there, and I have a little bit of baking soda as well. So that's going to go in. And to activate baking soda, remember it's different than baking powder, but baking powder already has the activating ingredient in there. Baking soda needs an acid to expand. So we're going to add a little bit of white vinegar, just a teaspoon in there. Other things that will work to activate baking soda, does anyone know? Lemon? Yeah.
Lime.
Yogurt will actually work as well, because it's an acid there. So put our large flake oats in there, and then we're going to add a little bit of ground flax that I've mixed with water. And this, sometimes you'll see in recipes, is referred to as a flax egg. Have anyone made a flax egg before? Flax egg.
Yeah.
Egg.
So it's an egg substitute.
Exactly. Yeah. So 1 tablespoon of ground flax mixed with 3 tablespoons of water. If you let it sit, it'll actually mimic the consistency of an egg. So it's a great, nice little
Option.
substitute and option.
Yeah, for those who are, limiting the amount of eggs in a day, right? So, and also the ground flax actually also has omega-3s, right? So those are heart health fats as well for brain health and heart health.
So if you can't have flax, so I put an egg in?
Sure, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
You could do that, or we're using it more for the binding property. Even if you just add a little bit more liquid for this,
Then you don't need the egg?
you don't need the egg. Because the egg in baking, remember, does 2 things. It binds, but it's also a leavening ingredient. The flax egg will just do the one. It'll just be the binder. So we have the baking soda to do the leavening. So if you didn't want to use flax, just add maybe a little bit more dates or a little bit of water in there. It'll be soft enough. And we're going to pulse this just until it comes together, but I kind of want big pieces of the oats in there. And that's pretty good for me. I can even do the last by hand just to mix it around. But this is the consistency that we're looking for. So sort of like a nice
Paste.
paste, yeah. And then that's it. Then that gets put onto trays. If you're brave enough to use your hands, put a little bit of water or maybe oil on it first, because this will stick. Or you can use an ice cream scoop. I can't find my mini one, but we'll make a big one. A couple big ones here. I find this so much easier.
Yeah.
And so we'll put a few of these on. Let's do 3 here.
It won't expand the way.
Yeah, no.
So what you see is what you're gonna get. Yeah.
Yeah. They're breakfast cookies. They're pretty dense. But I mean, that's the simplest form, right? You can sprinkle some seeds on there. Put
Nutritional yeast if you want.
put some nutritional yeast, whatever you want. 15 minutes at 350 until they come together, and did some here, nice and golden brown. Put some pumpkin seeds on there. They didn't shrink. This was a smaller
Yeah.
ice cream scoop. But that's it. These are
Yeah.
and sweetened. It's not too sweet, but it's sweetened from the dates. Got the oats, seeds, flax, delicious. And this can go into the freezer just like this until they're nice and solid, and then you can transfer them
Yeah.
to the
It's
freezer.
good as a snack even.